Well, it's 130 years since the Wakefield Trinity Club was born. Queen Victoria was on the throne. Disraeli was the Prime Minister. No doubt the Rolling Stones were at #1. And on this very day, February the 8th, 1873, they played their first ever game. It was a local derby, that game, and it will be a local derby again today against Castleford, their nearest Super League rivals. It's a great way to herald the entry of the big clubs into this year's Power Gen Challenge Cup. They haven't had far to travel, the mass ranks of the Castleford fans, and one or two Wakefield Trinity supporters in amongst them as well. Face painters have been out in strength, and by the looks of it have done a good job too. This is Castleford entering the fray. Theirs is a reasonably settled squad. Graham Stedman, the coach, hasn't dipped too extensively into the transfer market in the off-season, so most of their side will be familiar to their supporters. Wakefield, by contrast, have made one or two signings since their desperate battle against relegation last year. Adrian Vowles leading the Wakefield Trinity side out. He's a player coach these days with Wakefield. Many a year he was an extremely important player for the Castleford Tigers side, so facing his former club today. And the fireworks leaving their mark. Such a focused individual, Adrian Vowles. He was a man of steel in 1999 for Castleford, and there you see he's at the back of the pack for Wakefield today. Several new signings: John Wells, another former Castleford player on the wing, Matt Sears, the #4 in the centres. The other debutants: Ben Jeffries at #6, Clinton O'Brien, Michael Korkidis and Dallas Hudd amongst those making their competitive debuts for Wakefield today. Castleford just one new signing, Damien Gibson, the man who plays at full-back this afternoon. The 2003 Power Gen Challenge Cup is underway as far as the big sides are concerned, and we expect this one to be a very tough battle. And there's the first involvement of the referee of today, Ian Smith from Oldham. Very first settle, very first penalty, and Michael Korkidis, with his first competitive element for Wakefield Trinity, gives a penalty away.
I think he's trying to put his mark on this game from the start. These are passionate games. Well, he's lifted his elbow straight into him there. That's got to go on report. That's the first second of the game, and he's tried to make some real damage there.
Well, we very often talk in these big games about the forwards making their mark early on, don't we? Just trying to establish some kind of mental and physical superiority, and maybe just went a little too far there, but no doubt that Castleford are in for a battle here, and they have another penalty as well, just inside the Wakefield half. Wakefield haven't touched the ball yet, and they've given 2 penalties away.
I think this is just laying the foundations for this kind of game. This is a local derby, and the rivalry between these two, there is none greater in rugby league. The passion will be high, and Wakefield have come out and felt that if there's anything good they can do, it's going to be slow this down and get stuck into them.
Well, there you see tempers boiling a little. Mitch Healy's penalty has given Castleford a good platform here. Only 20 yards away from that Wakefield line. Bartram from dummy half. Down the blind side for Dale Fritz. Minor steps being taken. Bartram again. Here's Nathan Sykes. Considering the option of getting the ball away, but had to hold on. Wayne Bartram, the Australian, flicks it wide. Here's a chance for Leonard. It's an opening try inside the first minute. Mark Leonard skips his way through. And it is the Castleford fans who have the first reason to celebrate. Terrific start for the visiting side. Leonard with a touchdown.
I think what you're seeing here is passing only gets you so far. Wakefield have surrendered all their field position. Mark Leonard, who's playing on the wing in the team sheet, has come inside, and he's got some great pace, and there's just a big hole opened up for him. I think Smith creates a bit of space for him because they're frightened of his size and his power. And Leonard just skips through, and you can see the joy in his face as he puts the ball down to put Wakefield in front.
Well, we know he has pace, and there's the proof.
I think that could settle this game down a little bit now. I think Adrian Vowles will be saying to his boys down there, he's fired them up in the changing rooms. They've come out and they've probably gone right against what he wanted. He wanted to keep them down here, some real tough tackles and a bit of power and passion, but in the Castleford half. They've surrendered 2 penalties, they've given away all their field position, and the ability that's in this Castleford side has shone through, and Lennon's just skipped through for that try.
A chance now to add the 2. Wayne Bartram, whose kicking percentages throughout the whole of last season showed he had a 74% success rate. Has a fairly simple task to start the new season with. He puts it through the sticks. It is an excellent start for Castleford, and their young Welsh international Mark Lennon. Disastrous for Wakefield. They haven't touched the ball yet, and they find themselves behind.
I think you see there, Smith creates all the doubt in their defence. People come in out of the line thinking that his power and his pace are going to cause them, and Lennon skips in round the back of them. It's a great start for Castleford.
Australian-born Mark Lennon, but because of his Welsh mother, that's his qualification for the Welsh international team. Didn't have the best of seasons last year, but a renewed focus, we're told, at the start of this new season. And Wakefield have still not touched the ball. Now, Michael Korkidas might just be regretting that earlier high shot which gave away the initial penalty, and here's another penalty for holding down this time. Ian Smith, the referee, not happy with the speed of that, and Adrian Vowles is having a word here. Gareth Ellis was the man who's adjudged to have held on too long. Youngster with a big future in the game, just back from the World Sevens tournament where Great Britain reached the final, but holding on too long on that occasion.
I think that what we're seeing here is there's been a big push from the referees and the referee directors to keep the ball clean.
Well, the penalty is a hard touch, and so Wakefield have their first touch, and it's John Wells. Acting that he should be the first man to carry it forward, playing for Castleford this time last season. Good offload by Korkinas. Down the middle, Wakefield trying to take it. Martin Horan, the fullback, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Here's O'Brien now, Clinton O'Brien, one of the clutch of new signings that Wakefield have made in the close season, and now it's Castleford's turn to give the penalty away. And this, Dennis, surely is the players getting used to that new directive of getting away from the tackle as quickly as possible. They haven't quite got the good habits yet.
Yeah, the directive from Stuart Cummins is that the play ball's got to be nice and clean. If you win the tackle with the ball, you have good motion forward, then you have to make it nice and clean and get off quickly.
O'Brien's pass has gone behind, but it's picked up by Ben Jeffries. Here's Vowles, taking on some of his former teammates. Well, the referee not happy with the way the ball came free of that tackle. David March was quick to pick it up and scamper forward, but referee deciding instead it should be a penalty for Wakefield. And hardly surprising, Brad Davies is going to kick the goal here. Well, at least he's going to leave it for Ian Knott.
I think if you watch here, I don't think there's anything intentional in this. I think Adrian Vowles just loses that ball quite cleanly. I think the linesman's misread that situation and given a penalty in a kickable position for Ian Knott that shouldn't have really come about.
Well, there was bad decision maybe.
I think what this game needs now is the referee to calm down a little bit, stop giving away so many penalties and let the players play. Because if he carries on penalising this game the way he has been doing, it's just going to turn into a bit of a farce. I think the players need to settle down, find their feet.
Well, Ian Knott has not found his feet. That penalty has gone wide. So it'll be a drop-out from the 20 metres for Castleford to take. It should, barring handling errors, give Wakefield possession back again, so they have some small consolation. But they really needed that goal, didn't they, just to settle things down a little from Ian Knott.
I think they're a little bit overawed. They've got a lot of new signings in the team. It's a local derby. We always have these kind of passionate affairs. There's a little rivalry between the two players that have switched sides, and some players from Castleford are playing for Wakefield, some players from Wakefield are playing for Castleford. And it's just a settling in period, really. But the referee's not helped at the moment. He's given penalties that he could have let go, really.
March from dummy half. Here's Clinton O'Brien, the Australian, just trying to straighten it forward. We don't normally mention people on air, but a mention today for 15-year-old Matthew Lloyd, who's in Pinderfield's hospital at the moment, specially commissioned a television into his room today, big Wakefield fan, so that he can watch this game. Will not be happy with the way the Wakefield side have started so far, though Wells has put them in a decent position here. Jeffries throws it left, loose ball to Wells, who can't keep hold, and it's going to be brought away by Ryan Hodson.
Looked like there was a little bit of misunderstanding in the Wakefield line there. Nobody really knew who was taking the pass and who was getting the pass. And Castleford now through Wayne Pearce are just trying to get forward.
Well, there's a mistake you wouldn't normally associate with Adrian Wells, isn't it?
Oh, the Castleford fans like that one, though.
Looking to set a platform again here, Castleford, but having to do so from inside their own half. Danny Orr will try the kick downfield and attempted 40-20 because he was inside his own 40-metre mark, but it was taken by Halfpenny before it went out of play. Good chase by the Castleford line to make sure that the former Halifax winger can make only a few yards. Here's Holland now from dummy half, scampering into the arms of Mitch Healy. March. Dallison is wrestling away, but eventually is put down by Andy Lynch. A good offload, keeping the movement alive, and here's a chance now with not finding the gap. Can he find the support? Oh, the defence was quick to the rescue. Good tackle from Mark Lennon, but it's Castleford with numbers here and a chance to stretch that defence through Sears.
The first 10 minutes of this game have been all fun. Thunder under with some great rugby league played.
It's a sixth tackle, and it's going to be diffused in goal fairly easily. And a tap back on the 20 for Castleford. So a disappointing end to the set of six there from Wakefield's point of view.
Well, if you think so there, but because Castleford have got the ball in a good position, but Wakefield have got their line set and can establish a little bit of field position here through good defence.
So, how it's detractors over the years, this competition, hasn't it? Especially given the realignment of the season. It starts pretty early as far as the Super League season is concerned, but I guess as a veteran of 8 finals, 7 victories, you're still a big fan of the Challenge Cup, aren't you?
As much as you could be, David. It's now 29 consecutive finals you've been to. I think the final, the Challenge Cup holds something special, no matter where you put it in the season. Oh, that was a shocking ball from Wayne Bartram. It's put Castleford under a lot of pressure.
Well, Danny Orr might make something out of this because he stepped back inside his own 40-metre mark. If that ball goes out of play, and Martin Holland was gambling a little there, if that had gone out of play, it would have given Castleford a head and feet at the scrum. As it is, Martin Holland rescues it just and has possession back for Wakefield.
Nice cool play there from Martin Holland. He took his time, understood what he had to do and knocked it back in play.
Strengthening numbers from the Castleford defence. Solid line at the moment. Wells is just trying to wrestle his way downfield. Here's March. If you're just switching on, let me tell you that it's a double-headed Challenge Cup feast today. Warrington against Bradford at Wilderspool comes up right after this game. We do have the slight unknown of whether we'll need extra time in this particular match or indeed in the next match, but all things being equal, as long as they're not equal at full time, we will be going straight to Wilderspool after this match has finished, and it started well here. Danny Orr. Here's Lennon. And a little scampering run from him. And a penalty again.
You come straight on. No, have a look at the video. You come straight on.
Again, it's to play the ball rule, Eddie's. I think March has made the tackle, he's finished it off. As he's go down, he's jumped on top of him. If you just watch him here, you see there's just no need for that man there to get on top of the tackle player. And that's the new ruling now, that so we're trying to force the rugby league to clean the play the ball up and make the game nice and continuous and quick.
That's Kokidis again, isn't it?
Water, tries all the way, off.
It's just a little man against a big man there. Kokidis gets stood up and probably doesn't feel that nice about it and decides to show his weight on top of him and maybe squeeze some air out of Lennon.
So Wayne Bartram has his second chance to go for goal. Hardly a surprising decision this, 40 yards out, directly in front of the sticks. Would give Castleford a little bit of a comfort zone if he were to score it. former Queensland State of Origin player, so he knows what the big occasion is all about, but he has put that kick wide, and it'll be a dropper from the 20 metres for Wakefield again. So a goal kick on either side missed so far.
Two very good goal kickers as well. I don't know, from inside this commentary box we can't tell where the wind's blowing around. Maybe it's swirling around the stadium.
But we would rather be inside the commentary box, wouldn't we? Looks a little chilly out there. Castleford bringing it forward again. Sykes has managed to get the halfway point. Here's Lynch. Good driving run by Andy Lynch, the other prop forward. Bartram at dummy half. Little dabble down the right. Back to Lynch again.
Andy Lynch's good footwork is causing some problems for the Wakefield around that ruck.
Here's Healy, quick ball out to Michael Smith. Good juggle by the Kiwi. Kourkounis with a tackle, caught by Adrian Vowles. And Castleford are not making an awful lot of progress at the moment, but here's Bartram again from dummy half. Now a chance for Ryan Hudson. Good hands again. Fritz gets it wide right, little chip through by Gibson, but it's Martin Holland who's back there to tidy things up for Wakefield again.
Good positional sense there from Martin Holland. He saw there was a bit of pressure on his line, just sitting behind it and cleaned up nicely.
The longest serving player at Wakefield, Martin Holland. He's seen some events over here over the years.
They're really struggling at the moment, Wakefield. They just don't go forward at all. They're just on their back foot all the time, and they're playing a lot of game inside their 20 and 30 metre line.
Well, eventually Hood is held. Here's Wells. Sixth tackle coming up. Davis is forced to kick it. Latest tackle from Fritz. Price has taken it cleanly. Referee says play on. Lennon. Interesting switch, by the way, on the team sheet today. We were told that Mark Lennon will be playing on the wing, Darren Rodgers in the centres, and Damien Gibson at full back. But it appears they've switched that round again. Mark Lennon seems to be the full back, Gibson in the centres, and Rodgers on the wing. It doesn't matter who's playing where, you've got to handle the ball, and Castleford have failed to do that.
There still seems to be a little bit of temper spraying out there, a little bit of pushing and shoving and handbags at 10 paces kind of stuff, but it all seems to be centering around the front rowers from Wakefield at the moment. Kourkounis and I think it's Clinton O'Brien seem to be the two people that are causing some problems.
Well, the penalty again didn't find touch. And Darren Rodgers is only too happy to try and return it. Dale Fritz, by the way, regular Castleford fans might not recognise him because he's had his hair dyed blonde for this season. And his reasoning for that is he's only scored 7 tries in his 4 years at Castleford. Hasn't scored enough, and he reckons it's because everybody knows who he is. So he's gone to disguise this year to try and fiddle his way through a few defences.
I don't think he'll be too much of a disguise when you're playing against him.
Here's Mitch Healy with a kick forward. Alpini is on the chase back again. It's a good chase forward by the Castleford defence, and Alpini did well in the end to escape his in-goal area. Holland.
All the momentum seems to be Castleford's way at the moment. They're finding their field position, they're putting good kicks in behind the Wakefield line, and their kick chase is putting a lot of pressure on them. And Wakefield just having no field position. They're rushing the kicks, they're giving Castleford good field position. And I think that's the way the game's ebbing and flowing at the moment.
Here's March from dummy half. They have options on the bench to try and break things up, don't they? Wakefield, especially in the form of Paul Hanford, who might be able to come on if things aren't working from dummy half as sharply as they would want them to. Troy Slatty and David Wrench, two of the forwards on the bench as well. There's the latest penalty.
I think March has pulled a little bit of a fast one there on this linesman. Seems to be struggling at the moment. It's twice the Wakefield players have thrown the ball away and the linesman's given them penalties.
O'Brien with the drive. Hood runs back to the 10 yards. Well, in fact, it was a forward pass. My apologies. For a moment there, I thought the referee had given a penalty against Castleford for not being back fully 10 yards, but in fact, it was a forward pass against Wakefield. One schoolboy error substituted for another schoolboy error.
Again, I think Wakefield has just been their own worst enemies here. They're getting some good field position on penalties and then surrendering it through stupid and childish mistakes.
You see the difference in weight in packs. Considerably in Castleford's favour. Danny Orr. It's trying to straighten things up down the middle. Castleford making good ground here now. Ploughing inside at Wakefield half. Bartram's pass. Terrific tackle from Sears. Ryan Hudson would have known all about that. And I think we might be seeing a blood beam as well. Looks as though Matt Sears and Ryan Hudson, having not introduced each other well enough on the first contact, decide to introduce each other a little further.
I think that's just a little bit of testosterone flying around there. It was a great hit from Matty Sears. He caught Ryan Hudson really well. He came out of the line and caught him on a blind side. Did himself a little bit of damage though. Maybe caught Hudson's elbow.
Well, Matty Sears looks like
having a chat. And Hudson's decided that he didn't like what he said.
I was going to say Matt Sears looks like a boxer after the 5th round, doesn't he? And boxing analogy taken a step further as they decide to exchange fisticuffs.
Well, I think it might be stopped on points.
Ryan!
Under the pulled out, there'll just be a tiny little cut, won't there?
I think it's just been a clash of heads when he's made a good hit there. They've had a word. Ryan Hudson's decided to carry it on. Come on then.
Well, Ryan Hudson certainly landed with the left hook, didn't he? Always had a jab, and he's away. Off to the sidelines. He certainly landed with the first punch. So he'll have to sit the next 10 minutes in the sin bin. Is the Wakefield player going to be following suit here? No, he's not. Yes, he is. Matt Sears has been sin bin as well. So they are both down to 12 players for the next 10 minutes.
I think you would have had to find that Matty Sears would have had to come off as a substitute now, because in rugby league now with the 12 interchange rules from 4, blood bins don't actually count anymore, so I think Matty Sears would have had to come off anyway there, so he might be counting that as a bit of a blessing.
Both sides down to 12. Wakefield weren't competing when they had 13 on the field, and they will be pretty distraught at that decision as well. It did appear as though that pass from Clinton O'Brien had gone backwards. Referee Ian Smith deciding otherwise.
What's Clinton O'Brien doing though? What is the need for this? They need to establish some field position. He's forced to pass.
Well, there was no doubt it had gone backwards, but the head and feet goes Castleford's way. Here's Gibson now. Well matched by his opposite number, Holland. Trying to get up and play the ball quickly. Holland felt that the tackle hadn't been completed, so tried to get in a second attempt. The referee said, oh yes it had. Penalty goes Castleford's way, and it's all making for a very bitty game at the moment, isn't it?
I think Wakefield's discipline basically is just letting them down. They've come into this game, they've decided that the one way that they're going to get on top of Castleford is by trying to out-muscle them, upset them and get in their faces. But it's just costing them a lot of points, and I think Castleford have been really professional. They're getting on with the job and they're finding where they want to be on the field, and now they're in the lead on the scoreboard.
Well, the first points came within the first 2 minutes, but we haven't seen anything since. Mark Lennon's try, Wayne Bartram's goal, that's been it so far. Here's Michael Smith, Kiwi international, who was looking forward to playing against Great Britain last autumn, but didn't make any of the tests against Great Britain. Driven forward by Andy Lynch. This is a good position here for Castleford. Bartram from dummy half. Fritz trying to force his way through by himself.
I think he recognised him that time though, so he couldn't get over the line.
Bartram's attempt from dummy half. Sixth tackle. Last chance for Castleford. Camped on the Wakefield line. Out it goes to Danny Orr. Thinks about the pass. Looks for it. Long one, high one. Misjudged. Gareth Ellis was there to take a very simple interception.
Gareth Ellis just got up quick in the line then. And I think it was Mitch Healy, you'll see that through that pass. He was looking for Danny Orr to cause some problems on the edge, but it was a pass that he didn't need to make.
There's O'Brien with another of those offloads, and Corkinis running with a bit of passion. This is Paul Hanford, who has now come on from the bench. Knott is the runner. Interesting now that Wakefield have both Hanforth and March on, so they can just swap and change between the dummy half players, can't they? Just add a few question marks to the Castleford ranks. Here's Jeffries with a long kick downfield. Good take by Mark Lennon. It's a solid line of defence in Wakefield.
I think Wakefield now turned it around a little bit and looking to get forward. He's just settled it down there and put a good kick in.
Brad Davis is the player who's gone off, by the way, for Paul Hanford to replace.
I think you'll find that's probably because Wakefield have lacked a little bit of go forward, so they brought a couple of good dummy half runners onto the field, and I think you'll see a little bit more of a scooting game from them just to get some good go forward.
Here's Bartram now from acting halfback. Kick downfield by that Doughty campaigner, Mitch Healy. Martin Holland. Can't step inside the half-back combination of Danny Orr and Mitch Healy. Hanforth. Halfpenny. Here's Adrian Vowles. How he'd love to score today. Hanforth. Corkinis now again. He runs with real power, doesn't he? He really hits the line hard.
He's a big bloke, isn't he? I think he's just taken that little bit of roughness out of his game over the last couple of minutes and now decided to do the job that he's out there to do.
Jeffries with a 6-tackle kick. Wayne Price with a catch and take. Oh, over the head of Lennon. There's a mistake. Slattery's after it. Lennon recovers and touches down in goal. Oh, my word. There would have been some blushes there had Wakefield scored. But Mark Lennon to the rescue.
See, sometimes games turn on little things. That was just a shocking pass from the winger. I've no doubt that his coach has told him that he wants him to try and link up so they can attack at different options from a kick return. But I think he must have thought that Mark Lennon was about 7 foot tall there.
Wayne Price is the cousin of Leon Price, of course, the Bradford Bulls. Two Price cousins could both be in action today. Holland does well. Now, can they work up a bit of momentum here, Wakefield Trinity Wildcats?
This is the first time they've had some field position on the Castleford line. Hopefully they can keep hold of the ball.
Well, they have done it. Here's Handball. It has opened up nicely for him. He shoved one defender but couldn't get past Lennon again. But this is the best they've had here, Wakefield. March from dummy half will try to force his way in. 3 defenders around him, somehow gets the ball away. It has been lost again. It is all on. It is still Wakefield's possession. But it hasn't gone back to 1. It is still 3 tackles play. Slattery looks left. This can't get anywhere. Slattery again. Jeffries. And if Wakefield don't leave this position with any points, they will feel bitterly disappointed. It's the best position they've had, but here's a 6th tackle. Hanforth with a kick. Price is under pressure. Up goes the jump, and it's Price who comes down with the ball in his hands.
There's a great take there from Price. It's a good kick. It's an attacking kick. And Price does exceptionally well to take that out of the hands. Halfpenny.
Halfpenny's a big fella as well, isn't he? Very tall. But couldn't get up high enough. Down on the sidelines is Damien Johnson.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Just some news about the Wakefield halfback, Brad Davis. He came off in that last interchange. He's got ice on his knee. It looks like his game's over. Bad news for Wakefield.
That is bad news, isn't it? That'll be a big blow for them.
Brad Davis is one of their main playmakers. I think that will reshuffle them around and make them change the way that they're going to play this game.
Here's Wells. Searching for the gap, but sought out by Dale Fritz. March and dummy half. Castleford not by 10 metres at the play of the ball, and so the penalty goes Wakefield's way.
I think Wakefield have just got to slow down a little bit here. He was on the Castleford line and they were forcing the ball all the time when they had tackles up their sleeve to create a little bit more pressure and maybe open up Castleford better than they did. But now they've got some more field position and just be a little bit more patient with the ball. They'll get the result which they're after, which will be a try.
And fourth options rather disappeared there, so he had to try it himself. Here's March. Jeffrey's little ball inside for Slattery.
3, hey, under, come on, work!
March again with a willing runner from David Wrench, former Leeds player.
4, Danny Orr, offside, well done.
Dallas Hood with a reverse pass that somehow came off. Hanford with another little scrappy piece of handling, dribbled by David Wrench, and Castleford fall on the ball in the end. And I think the referee has seen about 5 or 6 knock-ons there.
I think they've been their own worst enemy here. I think the front row is trying to be a ball player instead of doing his job and going forward. He's trying to flick the ball out the back to some people that aren't there.
They're just trying too hard, aren't they?
They're in a great field position. I don't think it's trying too hard. I think they've just got to calm down and stick with their field position. They'll get the result that they're after if they're patient.
Yes, with me, come on, Dallas, well done.
Here's Michael Smith. And his second spell here at Castleford, and his second spell is proving an awful lot more successful than his first spell. Andy Lynch.
3, Adrian.
Shane McNally, the coach of Wakefield, arrived here as Peter Rowe's assistant coach last year. He's found himself coming through the ranks, just as Castleford trying to go through the Wakefield defence. Healy spins it away, left to Danny Orr. Orr's good option, steps back inside, shakes off Adrian Viles. Not many do that. Danny Orr's still alive here. Bartram gets it away to Healy. The overlaps on that right-hand side. Haaland, little ball back inside again. Somehow the Wakefield defence recovers, but somehow Castleford keep it alive. Here's Healy, and plays, but it's a forward pass. Well, exhilarating handling there for a moment, but the final pass was just a little too far forward.
Both sides seem at the moment to be getting where they need to be, establishing good field position, and then just trying to force the play too quickly. It was no time anyway. I don't think he grounded it. But Castleford are in a good position here anyway. They've got a scrum on the 10-yard line outside of Wakefield's line, and hopefully I think you'll see the Castleford defensive line really flying up here and trying to cause some problems for Wakefield.
Gareth Ellis, by the way, he's a youngster with a big picture, isn't he?
He's been fantastic. We're talking to Mike Gregory this week about him when he was on in the Sevens team, and he said that he was fantastic. He stood up, and his international future looks bright.
Well done belatedly to the Great Britain 7 teams, because they reached the final in Sydney, didn't they, of the World Sevens tournament?
It was a great performance just to go all the way to Sydney and be under so much pressure and get to the final was a great effort.
Here's March at dummy half. Ellis again looking for his share of work. Might have been a Castleford player. Graham Stedman, the Castleford coach, made an approach for him last year, but it wasn't successful. There's a good kick downfield. Darren Rogers can't keep it in play. Now, did he touch it before it went out, or had the ball already gone out when Darren Rogers made contact?
I think it's already out, but you never know with this linesman.
Has gone Castleford's way, and as we see there from the replay, quite right.
What was Darren Rogers trying to do, though? It wasn't even inside the 20, and he's tried to kick it back into play. A season campaign like Darren Rogers as well. He's been around a little bit now, and he's been established in this Castleford team for a long time.
And he's got a terrific scoring rate as well. 70 tries in 121 appearances.
Oh, he knows where the try line is. He always seemed to do well against Wigan as well. I always remember we used to say, don't worry about him. And he used to come up and score hat-tricks against us.
Well, there was a forward pass. Ian Smith, the referee, just putting his fingers to the lips in advance of any complaints, and there can be no complaints.
I think you'll see from both coaches at half-time they'll be sat down and telling the players that, listen, the referee's not bothered about our advantage line running. Let's take it down. Let's take a step back.
Michael
if there's
Smith,
anything that's borderline, he's giving a scrum for.
Lee Ireland, head in.
Paul Hanforth feeds the scrum. Here's Jeffries now. Ellis. His head-to-head clash with Michael Eager has been, forget the pun, eagerly anticipated. Eager's got the better of him so far, but that's a penalty to Wakefield. Well, the kicks were touched today have been far from convincing, haven't they? That only just made it as well.
Just a little bit. I think it's a lot windier than we can actually imagine up here in this box.
Oh, here's fouls, and here's an overlap opportunity now. Sears cuts back inside, and he's beaten 3 defenders, and eventually it's the tackling of Wayne Bartram that proves his undoing. But Wakefield again are only 10 yards away. Hanforth will try himself, and maybe now wishes he hadn't. March from dummy half. He too will try and reach and couldn't quite go all the way. That's all scrappy at the play of the ball. Ian Smith watches on. Flick back inside for Jeffries. Plenty of options here. One of those is Slattery, who's got through Eager, but then finds 2 more willing defenders holding up his tracks. Jeffries again. Ball back for Hood. Misses out Holland. Out to Ellis. Ellis straightens up. Can't get through, but finds Slattery. Back it goes. Here's Wrench, and rather Ian Knott, who tries to turn and twist, but again the defenders are there. It's the 6th tackle. Castleford's defence is holding firm. Dallas Hood holds it in his right arm, tried to force the ball away. Came off a Castleford player, but it's play on. It is still the 6th tackle. Ellis again, searching, still trying to power his way over. Is he in? Has he got in? Somehow he has found a way through that dogged Castleford defence, and the Wildcats have their first points of the afternoon, and it's the young up-and-coming hero Gareth Ellis who has got them the try.
Sheer determination, this, nothing on. Another flick pass from the front rower that goes to ground. Rogers knocks it down with his hand, and Ellis here is just looking for a hole. If this is still the last tackle, if he gets caught with the ball, he has to hand it over. He just shows great determination here. He's not being stopped. And great awareness of where the try line is there. I think you'll see it again. It was like a training run from Wakefield. They were playing touch, as if it was just an easy game and just flicking it around. Nothing was opening up for him. Castleford's defensive line was being really strong. And that was great awareness from Gareth Ellis to find out where the try line was.
Ian Knott has the chance to add a further 2. That would give us parity again. It is 6 points apiece. There was nothing pretty about Wakefield's try. It was just sheer power and very effective. And Gareth Ellis has put his side right back in the game again. All rather scrappy with that offload. But look at the determination here. Couldn't find a way through, couldn't find a way through. And then, when there were 2 defenders, somehow he reaches over.
I'm not sure how much Wakefield deserve to be 6 points all at this stage after the amount of penalties and how scrappy it's been, but for dogged determination and just unwillingness to give up, they've got themselves back in this game.
Well, Damien Johnson is down on the sidelines.
Yeah, the Wakefield scrum half, Brad Davis, whose game is over. Just a comment on that try from Gareth Ellis. You're back in the game.
Yeah, it's a great time to score just before half-time. I think we've probably lacked a little bit of composure so far in this first half when we've got the ball, but Gareth showed great strength and determination, and it's put us back in the game. I think if we can just try to complete a few sets now and get a few kick and try and wear Castleford down.
As I said, your game is over then.
Yeah, it looks like I've got a bit of a medial ligament injury, which what the physio's told me, so I've got no chance to get back on the paddock today.
Thanks, Brad.
It's amazing, isn't it? Players these days, a bit of a medial ligament injury. When you first started, it was my knee hurts, wasn't it? I know all
What are
about
you
it.
trying to say? You're trying to say them all?
Just stupid. Hanforth on the halfway line. It's a driving kick downfield again from Jeffries. That is a good kick. Lennon and Price in pursuit. Price is going to have to pick this up in his own goal area, and he'll struggle to get out as well. Great kick for Jeffries. chase by the Wakefield defence.
Everything swing round into it. That tries to turn Wakefield into a more determined outfit here. They've got some good field position. That's a fantastic kick. It does everything he wants it to. It rolls into the in goal and then it stops and holds up. Wayne Price is a little bit late getting to it, but the chase is there, and the kick is only ever as good as the people that are willing to chase it.
Couldn't really blame the Castleford winger there, could you? It was a hiding to nothing he found himself against. Just catching their breath. Lennon's kick is a good long one, but it does mean that Wakefield have possession back again, and they can start from here with David Wrench. Martin Holland is taking a bit of the workload off his forwards. The fullback coming in with a second drive. March, Hood, Dallas Hood trying to use footwork and then handwork to get through this Castleford defence, and Holland's on his way again. March, handful, little dummy from him again, and eventually he's held up. March, Hood, good upload again.
Dallas Hood just can't stop holding the ball, can he? He's a half-back playing in the front row's body.
Handford, six tackle with a grubber kick. Lennon watches the bounce and watches it smartly and takes it cleanly, and Castleford can bring it away. Approaching half-time, all square on the scoreline. What have you made of it so far, Dennis?
I think it's been a pretty scrappy first half, really. I think both sides have been trying to establish their superiority through really just trying to be tough. I think Wakefield have given away needless penalties time after time, but through their dogged determination have found themselves level on the scoreboard, and with a chance of actually, a couple of minutes ago, getting in front.
A case in point of needless penalties. Here's another. Castleford having got good ground field position downfield. Have now got the chance to piggyback still further inside the Wakefield half.
I think Castleford might be happy about this half-time whistle at the moment. Momentum seems to have gone away from them. They seem to be slowing everything right down.
Final 30 seconds of the half. Can Castleford go out with a flourish? Paul Jackson, who's on from the bench. Bartram looking for his runners. Finds an ever-eager one in Andy Lynch, who can't keep hold. That might just be the last act, the last meaningful act of this first half. Johnny Wells will try something magical from dummy half. Finds his way stopped the moment he gets into his stride. And that will be it. It's been a boisterous first half, but it is all square, just as we started. Wakefield may be a little lucky, but at half-time it's Wakefield Trinity Wildcats 6, Castleford Tigers 6.
Six apiece between Wakefield and Castleford. We're here at Wilderspool awaiting the second part of this afternoon's live Powergen Cup fourth round double header. That's the match between Warrington and Bradford. Let's discuss the first half at Wakefield in just a moment, after I've reminded you that the two football matches in progress at the moment into about the last quarter of an hour at Anfield, and Liverpool still trailing through a Jeremy goal to Middlesbrough. Liverpool 0, Middlesbrough 1 latest score. And in the Scottish Premier League, Dunfermline 1, Rangers 1, also a latest score. But we're here with Michael Withers and Jonathan Davis, six apiece, Wakefield and Castleford. It's a good cup tie, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good quality game.
It's a bit scrappy at the moment. I'm sure both coaches will be in there saying control the ball a lot more and play our sets of six out. If they do that, I think the first team to complete their sets, a lot more than what they've done, could get the win here.
Yeah. In the first part of that first half, it was Castleford's discipline and organisation that was really dictating the shape of the game.
Yeah, well, Wakefield's ill-disciplined, I think. I don't know how many penalties they gave away in the first half, but the wins behind them, Cass, they lost territorial advantage, and really they've been at most of the possession. But it's very difficult then to try and get momentum and continuity in your game when you give silly penalties. As Dennis Bett said, there's been directive from the referees, get off the tackle, get to play the ball quicker, and Wakefield haven't done that.
Bit fired up, Wakefield, weren't they? This was the first exchange of the game, and my goodness.
Yeah, it's the first tackle of the match, and all of a sudden, Kokidas comes in. That's a swinging arm. Dennis had mentioned a little elbow to go on report, but Michael and I disagree with that. It's just bit of enthusiasm on Cookie does his part, makes an impression in his new club.
It certainly did that. But it gave possession to Castleford straight up the other end, and Mark Lennon's try.
Yeah, as I said, they give a penalty away. Castle get a good kick, get field position, and all of a sudden, this is what happens. Brad Davis comes out to the line, and Lennon just hits the hole behind him. If we look at it on a different angle, what happens is, if you just run it on there, we just stop it there, what's going to happen? There's the try scorer there. What's going to happen? Brad Davis comes out to the line, and it's an easy into the hole try. It's just a mistake, a bad mistake if you run it on. Brad Davis misreads the play, comes for the dummy runner, and the hole just opens up for Lennon, and he just waltzes through. And really, that was a very, very simple try from a basic error by Brad Davis, and really, that should have taught them a lesson not to give penalties away in the opposition 22.
It had been a good first 20 minutes for Castleford. We saw the first blood spilt after about 20 minutes. In a way, that sort of changed the tone of that first half, didn't it? Let's just remind ourselves of what happened, the testosterone pumping, as Dennis Bett said.
Yeah, it was a good hit there by Matt Sears, and then they just get up. I think they have a word with each other, and then Ryan Hudson just throws the first punch. You see Matt Sears there's got a bit of claret coming out, and it's, air hooks, and then it's just everyone gets involved.
And they both deserve to go?
Oh, you can't get away with it these days. If you're the instigator, you get 10 minutes automatically, and then if you retaliate, you get 10 minutes as well. So
yeah, I think he'd be on the bag on Monday, because he didn't throw the greatest punches in the world. Hudson, he had a good chance, but I think the elbow clocked him first, bit of self-defence. He knew he was going to get hit, and just caught the eye.
So the discipline going, and a few minutes after that, we saw an awful pass from Wayne Price, which nearly cost his side dear.
Well, he's trying to get better field position, get in field, and that is a dreadful pass. He does very well, Lennon, to get the ball. I thought he could have been more committed, really, going for the ball, the Wakefield guy. But Lennon cleared it up. But I don't think Price will be throwing many passes in the second half. He'll be just taking it in.
Wakefield just weren't looking comfortable on the ball, were they? In contrast to Castleford, this was a wonderful move that kept the ball alive for quite some time and just ended with a forward pass. This was the contrast between the two.
I think Castleford do keep the ball alive well. They got many offloaders. And the same as Wakefield, they got a lot of offloaders, but they're just not sticking at the moment. They're trying to push the pass. But you see here, Castleford, they put a few passes together, and they're unlucky in the end where it goes a forward pass.
Yeah. I think the difference between Cass and Wakefield at the moment is Cass are going forward first. They're going forward, they're getting the defence on the back foot, and then they're spreading it wide, and that's where the holes appear. Whereas Wakefield, as Dennis Bett said in commentary, are just throwing, like a training run. They need to go forward first and maybe get the defences slightly disorganised, because otherwise you're going to put yourself under pressure.
And both Dennis and Dave Woods were saying that 6-6 at half-time is a wee bit generous to Wakefield. This is how they levelled the match, and it was a curious kind of try, wasn't it?
Yes, weird. Again, they just throw the ball about, trying to keep the ball alive, offloading. That's a bit of luck there. When Ellis picks the ball up there, no one comes at him. They want to keep the line, but you've got to come forward together. And it's just poor defensive work, and Paul Jackson would be unhappy with that effort, and it was a very simple try.
And this was on the sixth tackle, of course. Huge blow for Castleford, this.
Just before half-time as well. It's disheartening for Castleford. They've worked their heart out all half, and then just before half-time they come up with a soft try there. That will give Wakefield a lot of momentum going into the second half. And as you say, they didn't play well the first half, but I'm sure they'll pick it up in the second.
OK, we'll be right back with live coverage of the second half. Then, of course, here at Wilderspool, we've got Warrington against Bradford. 3 o'clock kick-off, full live coverage of another of the day's fourth-round cup ties. Bradford already here, so too their coach, Brian Noble, and he's standing by to give a few thoughts to Richard Duckenfield.
Brian, reigning World Club champions for a few days at least, but a quick exit from the Challenge Cup last time and pipped controversially in the grand final. Life's tough at the top, isn't it?
I think it's a bit tougher at the bottom. I'd rather be where we are. We didn't quite come up with the goods. Whichever way you look at it, last year we certainly got more focus this year in respect of this competition. It was a little bit like after Lord Mayor's Parade last year, after World Club Challenge the week before, but we're certainly ready for this one, and we're expecting a huge, tough tussle.
It was just that talk last time of going through unbeaten, which obviously didn't come off. You could have done without that, really, couldn't you?
You can always do things like that. And I don't know who said it, but I think he's in a concrete block somewhere. But it's impossible in rugby league these days. There's too many good teams around, and you've got to. If you under-prepare at any time in the stage, you're going to get beaten. It's as simple as that.
So looking ahead, it all comes at once, doesn't it? I mean, you've got the Challenge Cup today, Super League, just in a few days' time. The pressure really piles up now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just liken it a little bit like Japanese endurance. It's important that the start's impactful, and it is. You know, we've got this great game at Warrington today, then we play St Helens, a repeat of the grand final, and then we go into what I liken to Japanese endurance. It's a tough, long season, and you can't peak for every week. You've got to be sensible and use the players in the right way. And I'm really looking forward to it. You know, the place is buzzed up. We're moving back to Odsal, our spiritual home, if you like, and there's a great feeling about the place.
And you've prepared for all this away in Portugal. Go well, did it?
It went really well. It was a great camp. It's not a cloud in the sky for 7 days. It rained when we got there and rained when we left, so perhaps the omens are with us. But yeah, it was a terrifically tough camp, which we have every year, and hopefully we'll show that we're ready today. We need to be.
So today it's the Wolves. Now, I mean, in recent times, Bradford just turned up and beat Warrington Wolves in the Cup and in the League. I guess you haven't reminded your players of that.
I'll tell you what I have reminded them of, the fact that we've been here twice in the last couple of years and got our backsides kicked, you know, with teams that shouldn't really have beaten us. So there's that preparation angle as well. I think 2 years ago we had a 30-point lead against this mob, and they came back and beat us when Alan Langer was here and orchestrating things. And then I know it was last year, the year before last, you know, we came on to Nickhouse departure day, and the emotions were high with Warrington. We managed to get up there, and then we came in the league and they beat us by 8 points in one of those horrible, tough bashathons that you get involved in. You can get involved in here. I'm expecting a real hard game here today.
Good. Thanks, Brian. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Michael Withers, after hearing that, you're probably glad to sit this one out and not be part of that Bradford dressing room. It is a tough place to come, this, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You get a full house here, it's very intimidating. You see the boys in the sheds there, you know, they'll be all very focused. You know, we don't want another disappointment like last year. They have prepared well. We know what to expect, you know, a very tough opening 20 minutes, and then we'll see what we can get, how we go then.
And Warrington, the Warrington dressing room, they've also had a pretty good, solid pre-season, haven't they?
The difference between Warrington this year and last year is Paul Cullen. You know, he's a Warringtonian through and through. He's played here for all of his career, and you know, he played tough. He's a nasty piece of work on the pitch. Didn't take a backward step, and that's what you'll see today with Warrington. First, I was talking to Brian Noble on Thursday. He knows the first 20 minutes of this game will be as tough as any game they had last year. They will come out from the blocks, you know, mad as hat as these Warringtonians. They've got nothing to lose, but you know, everything to gain. And it will be a ferocious opening 20 minutes, I can assure you that, just because Paul Cullen's in the change room. They'll be disciplined, they'll be organised. There might be one or two high dangerous shots which, you know, might come into it, but that's the way Warrington have to play, because Bradford are clear favourites. One of the best teams in the world. You've got to come in and really knock them out of their stride.
Is that what you're anticipating as well?
Yeah, we're anticipating a big barrage at the start. You know, they're always a very physical team, Warrington, especially early on. And I'm sure if we play smart and try to avoid the big confrontations up front, turn them around, it'll be in our favour.
It's pretty physical also. The other match at Wakefield and Castleford. Just before we head back there, an update on the football. We've had a goal in the Scottish Premier League match at Dunfermline, and Rangers have taken the lead. Lorenzo Amoruso making it Dunfermline 0, Rangers 2, with just a few minutes left in that match, and it remains Liverpool 0, Middlesbrough 1. 1 apiece now at Anfield. Liverpool equalising in just the last few seconds, and we think the scorer is Risa. Liverpool 1, Middlesbrough 1. That is confirmed, though, at Anfield. We think the goal scorer is Risa, and Liverpool looking as if they might well salvage something out of that one at Anfield today. They're in the closing minutes there as well. Meantime, back at Bellevue, they're heading into the second half of their Power Gen Cup 4th round tie, and what a first half it's been. 6 apiece as we go into this second half between Wakefield and Castleford, and we're back with Dennis Betts and Dave Woods.
Well, it's in anybody's game now. You wouldn't have thought the way the game started when Castleford took that lead after just 2 minutes, that and the way Wakefield played for a good 10, 15, 20 minutes after that, that it would be all square at half-time, but it is, and you have to say, Dennis, it's anybody's game so far. Those are the statistics so far. 71 missed tackles by Castleford, only 55 by Wakefield. That is a statistic that will really trouble Graham Steadman, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it wouldn't have been a statistic you would have called in the game, really. I think Castleford, they were just getting together there in the centre of the field. They'll be saying that, right, we're starting again. We know our mistakes we've made in the first half. We know we have to establish field position and keep hold of the ball. And I think Wakefield will be saying exactly the same thing as they came out. We might see a totally different game in this half. And hopefully we can see less penalties, more ball to hand, and a little bit more free-flowing rugby.
Well, it hasn't been as fluent as maybe it would be 3 or 4 weeks down the line, is it? It is the first competitive game for both these two sides this season, and I guess, you know, a couple of Super League games under their belts, and it would be a very different match we'd be watching today.
They've had warm-up games, and they've had a feel of it, and they've probably played with a lot of substitutes and trying to get a feel for the ball, but this game is a local derby. There's a lot of passion involved, and like you say, it's very early in the season. They've all come out of the gym and off the training paddock where things like that have been coming off recently.
Here's David Wrench trying to inch his way forward. We mentioned the history before, 130 years to the very day since Wakefield played their first ever game, Wakefield Trinity. Just to reprise a bit of that, Wakefield Trinity Football Club, formed by the members of the Young Men's Society and the Holy Trinity Church. That's where the name Trinity comes from, all those years ago. Here's Jeffries at dummy half for Wakefield. Ellis, the try scorer, tries to straighten up again through that Castleford defence. Ian Smith has the Castleford players back 10 yards. O'Brien. David March. Spun away to Adrian Bowles, who's lost it again. It went forward, and it might still end up in a Castleford fan here. The chase is on. It's Gibson with a touch forward. Price on his outside. Hanford's battling back as well. Price is the man who picks it up. Now, can he find a way through? No, he can't. Too many numbers. Too many defenders back there. But what a position Castleford have. Healy spins it to Harlan. Over the head of Danny Orr. Into the hands of Michael Smith. Smith for the corner. Oh, he's only about a foot away. Rogers waits at dummy half. This is Michael Eager. Good tackle by Ellis. Good defending by the Wakefield centre, but a penalty has been given away.
I'm not sure there. I think Ellis has tried to rip the ball out. I think the Wakefield coach there, the Wakefield coach of Adrian Bowles, will be giving himself a hard time come the review the next couple of days, but Castleford do well here, play a little bit of soccer with it and get a result, get the ball.
Well, they still have a good position here. They tapped the penalty, decided to take it quickly because they had such a good position. Bartram spins it left. Lennon trying to sneak his way in again, as he did in the opening 2 minutes of the first half. Bartram watches. Michael Smith to his left. Bartram might have fancied his own look there, but it ran out on him. Smith. Well, the Wakefield's defence is very, very good at the moment. And it means that Castleford have gone through 5 tackles without getting over that line. Here comes the 6th. Danny Orr's chip over the top. Who's going to get it? It is Gibson, who went up the highest, but he was tackled as he came down with it short of the line. Terrific defending by Wakefield.
That's a great bit of play, a great kick in from Danny Orr, a good attacking option. It keeps the ball in play, so that even if the Wakefield player does take it, it's play on. And this is good field position for Castleford. I think you'll find that this will be the 3rd or 4th tackle now, and they're still inside their 30.
But hats off to Colin Halfpenny there, who really did get obliged to make that defensive tackle to deny Damien Gibson, and now Castleford have found themselves in the referee's bad books again.
Graham Stedman will be livid in the box there. I think he's got to 4th tackle, they're still inside their 30, and they give a penalty away. They've surrendered all their field position now, and all the good work's just gone to waste.
Well, here's another one. Not back 10 yards for when the tap was taken. Schoolboy errors, and this again underlines the fact that, you know, 3-4 weeks down the line, these kind of mistakes wouldn't be made, these kind of penalties wouldn't be given away, or at least that's the way the coach hopes. But in this first competitive game, it is getting used to getting back those 10 yards again, isn't it?
I think basically as well, this is another directive from Stuart Cummings. The offside rule is going to be policed quite diligently this year, and everybody who gets a foot in front of the line is going to be penalised. It's something that we're trying to tidy up. We're trying to tidy up the ruck, keep it clean, and also the line.
So Ian Knott, former Great Britain under-21 international, has the chance to give Wakefield the lead for the first time this afternoon.
the way his kicking boots are going today, I think they've had a bet with you now, Woodsy. I think I'm taking against him, Betty. What do you think for a fiver? Do you think he's going to kick it?
Well, for that kind of money, no way. That's silly money, that is. That's you high-paid sportsmen throwing your money away. Here's Knott, right-footed. Has he found it? Go on then, I'll bet you a fiver. Over it goes, and Wakefield have the lead for the first time today. Ian Knott scores. It is Wakefield Trinity Wildcats 8, Castleford 6.
I think Graham Stenman will be sat there grinding his teeth thinking we had all the field position, we had all the pressure, it was just like the start of the game, and then we surrendered it with some stupid penalties, and now we're 2 points behind.
Well, here's a test of Castleford's character now, isn't it? Having had the game, here's a little kick-off, the short one trying to catch Wakefield out, and it might do as well. Slattery's missed it. It's picked up by Michael Smith, and now Castleford with the attacking chance here. Driven forward by Sykes. Couldn't find the pass away, but Castleford are in position A again here. Bartram, back to Smith again. Smith trying to furrow his way through. Good pass onto Sykes, left to Danny Orr. Danny Orr thinks about the kick, then tries to step inside. Can't get on the outside, finds Michael Eager, and Eager is put down and almost loses the ball as well. Just about sticks hold. This is Danny Orr. Sykes is the runner. Wakefield's defence is strong again. They've had plenty of practice here, having to defend close to their own line. Orr again. Now Mitch Healy goes on the wide right to Gibson, who is tackled well. Superb defending by Matt Sears, who hauls out his opposite number into touch. And Wakefield's defence again has been absolutely manful.
Matt Sears does a great job here. I think you think Lennon there could go for the line. Or Gibson, sorry. And Sears just picks him out and drags him towards that sideline. And relieves a little bit of pressure that Wakefield are under there, but some dogged defence on their own line.
Matt Sears with a bandage around his head, having cut his head badly in the first half, you'll remember. Patched up, and Wakefield are glad he is.
I think his defensive qualities aren't in doubt. He played a lot of fullback, and he was a very, very good defensive fullback in his time for West Tigers in Australia.
Over 200 first-grade games in the NRL with West Tigers. Here's John Wells, who played a few for Castleford, but today he's playing against them. March at dummy half, local lad to Wakefield. Trying to go through the middle again, through Wrench, who will try to offload, and has lost it, has he? Yes, he has. Castleford had it back again. There are a lot of risks being taken, unnecessarily again.
I can imagine that the coaches at half-time would have been saying, let's cut out them stupid mistakes and cut out all those risk-taking, let's find some field position. I know I keep saying it, but those kind of things are what win your games.
Here's Sykes. Edge of the penalty area, you can see Leeds United reserves play here, as well as Emley, the non-league team. Harland. Crunching defence again. O'Brien got his shoulder down. Hanforth was there too. This is Danny Orr, looking for a bit of inspiration, and might just have provided it. Oh, terrific try! Terrific piece of play from a very talented young player. Danny Orr with a step and the searing pace that left, finally, Wakefield's defence for dead. And Castleford have the lead again.
Well, if you put yourself under pressure by having to defend your own line continuously, like Wakefield have, then things like this can happen. I think you'll see that Wrench tries to force the ball here, and Cass get the ball back. And Danny Orr's been coming into the game a little bit more this half. He was very quiet in the first half, but he's been getting the ball in his hands continuously over the last couple of sets of six. He straightens up, he has a great left foot step, uses his handoff really well, puts the ball down between the posts. I think that's just reward for what Castleford's little bit of pressure and basically Wakefield's poor ball control. But Danny Orr's got a fantastic left foot step, and when he attacks the line like that, he can cause any side trouble.
He's another player just back from the World Sevens as well, isn't he? Danny Orr only arrived back Tuesday morning. First task was to get his sleeping patterns back in order and then concentrate on his rugby league, which he has done effectively today. Bartram adds the 2 points, and Castleford lead here by 12 points to 8.
Again here, when you watch this is just pure ability, this. You can't coach this into a player. He uses that big left foot step, he shows the ball, and he puts the ball down between the posts. I think that's just reward for all the pressure that Castleford have been putting Wakefield under. And basically, I think it's what Castleford deserve after the way that Wakefield have kept giving the ball back.
Well, there was an example of how good Wakefield's defence had been up to that point, but Danny Orr finally finding a way through. Castleford have responded as their coach would have expected to going behind early in this second half. They now have the advantage again. Bartram. Good momentum being built up again here by Castleford. Lennon. O'Brien and not to make the tackle. Sykes. Very much the veteran of the Castleford front row these days, now that Dean Sampson has retired. Bartram again. Sixth tackle. So they'll look to the boot of Danny Orr this time, who puts it high. One or two questions being asked here of John Wells. Rogers almost nipping in, but Wells knows his own teammate well and outbeat him in the air. And not only that, has made a good clearing run as well.
Well, you think Danny Orr would know John Wells. He's very sound under the high ball. Maybe he thought he'd just give him a little bit of a tester, but he takes that excellently and responds very well with a good return.
Well, it's warming up now, isn't it? Warming up nicely. And offside.
I'm not sure what the referee's trying to do here. I think Wakefield would have been happier just to let him roll there. They've stopped all their momentum.
Well, the referee deciding that Castleford's defenders had not got back the 10 yards necessary.
A little bit of common sense though, like Wakefield on a little bit of a roll. The first time this half that's happened to them.
Here's Jeffries with a penalty, has found touch well. March with a tap, driven in by O'Brien. Now it's Wakefield's turn to find themselves a platform. Hanforth, inside for Wrench, who goes searching for the gap. Obstruction. Clinton O'Brien was clearly in the face of Michael Smith there. And the Wakefield player was able to use that to his advantage. And so the penalty goes Castleford's way.
Things just aren't going their way, are they? I think Clinton O'Brien here realises what's going on. He turns and even puts his hand out and grabs hold of Smith. It's just a stupid mistake, and they've lost all that momentum they had through getting a penalty and then surrendering their possession up to Castleford.
Clinton O'Brien is one of their more experienced overseas signings as well, isn't he? In the Newcastle side that lost to Bradford in the World Club Championship last year. State of origin player as well with Queensland. Discipline is the word from the referee, which I'm sure the coaches would underline as well. Here's Harland for Castleford. Here's Fritz.
That's four! Come on! Hit it! Oh!
Harland. Danny Orr. That's a good long pass to find Eager. It was wound up by Jeffries and put out of play in the end. Jeffries with the first tackle. Gareth Ellis with the supporting defence.
Good defence here. Ellis is a great defender. Put a lot of pressure on him there. I think the ball off Danny Orr was probably the wrong ball. It was a floating ball, it was in the air. Eager had to lead the floor to take it, which took away his momentum and gave the defence a chance to get across and take him into touch.
Only 21 years of age. Gareth Ellis came through the ranks here at Wakefield. He's just signed a new long-term deal here as well, hasn't he? One or two eyes from other Super Leagues clubs looking at his possible availability, but he has committed himself long-term to Wakefield. They'll be pleased about that, trying to build for the future here. Wakefield have been struggling against relegation these last few years, but looking to really step on this year and make a much bigger impact on the Super League. This is an early test of that pedigree. Here's Slattery.
I think they've got to go back to basics a little bit here and just find some good field position. Not worry too much about trying to offload or attacking options, just get forward and find some field position.
Well, Korkidas has lost it, and the referee has decided it was knocked on, and I'm pretty sure that was the right decision, because as Korkidas took the ball into the tackle here, you can see him looking at the possibility of offloading and maybe just lost control. Yes, he did. Right decision by the referee.
I think so, yeah. I think, like again, I say again, go back to basics, get some good ball carriage, hit the line hard, but make sure the ball's secure just to get some field position. I don't think Wakefield have done any of that in this first half so far.
Here's Danny Orr. Michael Eager trying to step his man Adrian Vowles, but Vowles was there. Martin Holland, rather, was there in his face. Similar haircut.
As he'd had his hair done as well, so he looks like his coach.
Yep. Here's Gibson, just inside the Wakefield half. Thackeray, who's on from the bench. Another of those
is that Thackeray or is that Fritz?
Jamie Thackeray. Here's Eager. Michael Smith. Mitch Healy. Inside again, but Paul Jackson is cut down the minute he got the ball. 6 tackle coming up. Castleford will have to produce something from the boot here. Mitch Healy hoists it high. This is anybody's now. A crowd of players waiting for it. Rogers was up there to make the challenge. Slattery falls on it, and Wakefield have possession back again. Didn't seem to be a follow-up challenge there from Castleford, did there? Rogers made the initial leap, but there was nobody else there to...
I think everybody rushed the ball. I think everybody, they didn't have anybody in second line of attack just to tie up or even tidy up if anything came back their way. Rogers knocked it back, but everybody was in front of him or jumping for the ball.
March. Dallas Hood, who's at 6'4" and 16 stone 6, one of the biggest players on the field. March has kept hold of that, according to the referee with his first viewing, but then having asked the opinion of his touch judge, has decided it was knocked on by the Wakefield hooker. And it'll be Castleford's head and feet at the scrum.
The ball's gone back and then he scoots it in, knock on.
It's easy to say when he's saying about keeping possession and not trying to force it, but he's got Healy all over him. The ball's nearly touching the floor and he's trying to force a pass when you've had no field position for the last 10 minutes.
You say about the coaches saying let's keep it tight and let's keep it close, but you know there must have been a coaching instruction to try and offload it as often as they can, especially with Wakefield, because they are trying it so much today.
It must have been something that they've worked on in training and something they believe that's going to add to their game this year. But sometimes you've got to keep him. You've got to realise when to do it and when not to do it. I think that's the art of a good offloader, is the ability to understand what situation you're in.
Michael Smith's rampaging run has given Castleford a good position again here. Danny Orr, Mitch Healy, Thackeray on his outside, came on rather flat and too flat. It was a forward pass. That was misunderstanding.
This half seems to be deteriorating a little bit again now. There's been penalties and that comes down to timing again. I think Thackeray's just come on. His timing's a little bit off. And he's fell into that trap of that forward fast thing.
There's Shane McNally, who was the head coach of the Northern Territories Institute of Sport before he arrived in Wakefield, all the way from Darwin in Australia to Wakefield in West Yorkshire. And Dennis Betts is saying nothing.
Your darling, not mine.
Here's Adrian Vowles, he's made a good break now, and he's got Ellis on the outside. He tried to run over Mark Lennon, who stood up strong and made a good defensive tackle. Slattery. March at dummy half. Hood. Dallas Hood trying to drive it in and offload, and he does that, but Handforth is wrapped up quickly. March. Korkidis again. Always, he's threatening. One of these days he will get through that first line, because every time he hits the line, he hits it at power, but he's held on to just again. 6 tackle coming up. Little kick over the top by Jeffries, not in pursuit, bounces awkwardly for Lennon, knocked on. Mistake forced by the little kick through, and the pressure applied by Ian Knott. It'll be Wakefield's head and ball, and they should have a good position here now after this scrum.
They get a result, don't they? They've found some field position, they've actually got to the last tackle. They've put a kick over here, it's a bit of a nasty bounce there. Oh, as he scoops it up, as he knocks it on, it's a close call, this from the referee.
Well, he did that on purpose, didn't he? He put the backspin on that ball. Remember Mark Cannon at Wigan in their cup final year in '85? He had that ability to put the backspin on the ball, didn't he? And that was exactly what happened there.
I'm not sure I was born then, actually, was it?
Not that long ago. But Wakefield have a great position here. Can they make something of it? Korkidis into his stride. Can't turn out of the defence. March. Tackle of Dallas Hood. Castleford's turn to be tested at the back now. Here's Jeffries. They're arriving in numbers. Holland side down. Michael Eagle was the man who made the tackle. March waits at dummy half. Jeffries again. Ellis trying to come in straight. Defence was there in numbers, which it has to be when Ellis has the ball. Sixth tackle, urged on now by the Wakefield supporters. Jeffries with a little kick through. It's not who's chasing it, but Leonard's just there in time. But he will be held in his in-goal area. It'll be a drop out underneath the sticks, and it should be more pressure on the Castleford line when Wakefield get the ball back again.
Again, they've played it to the last tackle. They've got to the sticks. He's put a quality kick in behind the line. They've got a good kick chase, and they've forced Castleford into a dropout. They're going to get the ball back in good field position again. And this time they might get the result after, which is a try to get them back in the game.
Well, the midway point of the second half, only 4 points the difference. It might be apposite to remind you that if it is all square at the end of 80 minutes, we're into extra time, 2 periods of 10 minutes each way. If it is all square after that 20-minute extra time, then they simply play another 10 minutes, and another 10 minutes, and another 10 minutes until we have a winner. Those are the words that TV planning executives hate to hear. Extra time. Here's Holland. Wakefield, though, would dearly love to win it within the allocated 80. Here's Slattery to Vowles. Vowles looking for a gap, can't find one. Does offload, and wisely, eager offloads again and wisely, and Wakefield somehow have the ball back again. Unbelievable. Sears. Now it's a chance for Halfpenny, but he's hauled down. Good tackle by Thackeray. March again. Here's Handfall. 20 yards out. Handfall for the step of his right foot. Can't find the way through. March wants to get on with this. Wakefield know they have the momentum. Out it goes to Jeffries. Long pass. Here's Ellis. Steps inside. Rogers holds on. Wakefield have the overlap. Wells has to cut back inside though. And the defence is there again in numbers. And Wakefield must wait again. But now they have a penalty. Again, there was an overindulgence in the tackle. The referee gives a penalty Wakefield's way, and it's tapped quickly. Here's Corkinas! Just held short. That was close. March again. Knott comes flying in. Put down a yard away. March sits and waits. Play the ball, is scrapping. Penalty given. March wanted to take it quickly, but he's not going to be allowed to do that. The man on the PA lets the music boom because he thinks a try has been scored, but he'll have to hit the eject button, I'm afraid, because the referee was not happy with a quick penalty being taken there.
That's a bit of patience. They all start with a bit of a comedy of errors. You have the ball, we'll have the ball. And Wakefield now have got a little bit of momentum. Castleford will want to try and slow this down if they're going to survive.
Here's Jeffries, out to Slattery. Good tackle from Darren Rogers. Man and ball as it had to be. Any room for manoeuvre there, and there was a two-man overlap to the right. Now they move it left. March steps again. Wakefield's defence is there once more. Working overtime now. Wakefield posing all the questions. Jeffries by himself. He's in! He is in! Castleford's defence is finally confused. And Wakefield have it level again with a kick to come. And Jeffries is a try scorer.
They got their just rewards there. He was nice and patient. Castleford gave away some silly penalties and caused themselves problems. That's the quick tap. I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore. But here, some very, very weak defensive effort there from Danny Orr on his line. That's where you've got to be your strongest. These kind of things just can't happen when you're 2 or 3 yards off your line. You can't afford to fall for dummies or fall off tackles so easily. And hopefully now with Ian not taking this kick, Wakefield are going to take the lead.
Well, Jeffries was given a lot of room for manoeuvre there. Ian Knott settling himself for the kick at goal, and between the sticks it sails, and Wakefield have the lead again. 14 points to 12. What a cup tie we have on our hands now.
I think it all goes back to that great defence on their line. They stopped Castleford on a number of occasions, and then they've got down there.
But look how many defenders. There were 4 defenders there.
Graham Steadman will be very, very disappointed in the effort from both his markers to start with, and also his A defenders who are tight to the ruck. This is a very, very weak, poor try to concede at this stage of the game.
Ben Jeffrey's first try in competitive rugby league for his new club. The 22-year-old is off the mark, and what a way to do it as well. 2 points the difference.
I think Castleford now have got to push this ball a little bit now and get some momentum back in their game.
Here's Bartram with a high kick off again. Lennon's after it, awkward bounce. Jeffries touches it back to Hanforth. Notice that Wasele Summertabua, there he is, moving up to dummy half, he's on the pitch. Played in the cup final of '98, which Dennis remembers fondly. Wasele Summertabua, one of the Sheffield heroes that day, upsetting the odds against Wigan.
What final was that? I can't remember that one.
It's the one where Wigan were beaten.
No, I've totally forgot about that.
Not surprised. Here's Dallas Hood. Now Wakefield have momentum, and there's an offload that does come off. Bowles gets it away. Sears out to Halfpenny, but Wakefield's defence has recovered quickly. Castleford's defence, rather, has recovered quickly. Vowles, Holland, full-back, is up in the line again, trying to stretch them. It's going to be a high kick. A tester as well. Good one from Jeffries. Rogers underneath it. He's bounced off the ball, and somehow Michael Eager got back there. Eager back to collect.
Michael Eager did well there. He put some real good cover on for Darren Rogers. I think he saved Darren Rogers' skin there with that little bit of work off the ball as he come back. It's a great competition there. Oh, and Eager's very fortunate, takes a knock off Welland's boot. Castleford get a penalty on the back of that.
One. Dallas! Hold! Get with it!
Michael Smith.
Hold! Two!
Castleford just looking for a set of 6 tackles now, which will take them deep inside the Wakefield half and settle things down again.
They don't seem to want to play, Castleford. I think all the momentum's gone back to Wakefield, all the enthusiasm's with Wakefield, and nobody seems to want to go forward from Castleford.
Here's Danny Orr, almost an interception. Knocked down and knocked on by Ben Jeffries.
Knock on, Ben. Right on the cross here, mate.
And they're getting a little bit of luck now, Wakefield. Those passes are starting to stick. Castleford are trying to play around them all the time. If he gets 2 hands to that, or a little bit of more of a favourable bounce off his hand, he's underneath the post there.
Graham Steadman has left his place in the stands and is down on the touchline to have a closer say and a closer eye on matters in hand.
Make an effort. Come on, it's game, Devon. Get it in.
This is Danny Orr. Here's Eager.
Adrian!
Thackeray with a run. It's a good run as well. And he's made some excellent ground there. Jamie Thackeray, recent signing from Halifax, only been at Castleford for 10 weeks now, but finding his way forward. And now Andy Lynch, Wayne Price, surrounded by defenders, but now it is Castleford's turn to push, trailing by 2. Danny Orr. This is Healy, long pass out again, good hands, Lennon, Rogers at the left-hand side, but Lennon doesn't need it. Mark Lennon is in again. It's his second try of the afternoon, and it has swung the pendulum back Castleford's way.
A little bit of class here, he's got them back in the game. Lennon showed some great pace, they got a 2-on-1. They threw a dummy and sneaked it himself in the corner there. It's a great ball here from Mitch Healy. Eager does well there. And Lennon stays strong. And he rides over there from Gareth Ellis's tackle to put them back in the lead.
Well, the way Ellis has been playing here, you'd have backed him to make the tackle there, wouldn't you? But he couldn't quite keep hold.
Well, you see Jeffers there. Jeffers comes out, he wants that intercept again. He's gone to swing for the ball. Mitch Healy threw a great pass. He's out of the defensive line and he's caused his side problems. And Lennon gets into that hole where he's left.
Well, had Castleford's squad been fully fit today, Mark Lennon might not have been playing. Andy Johnson, Paul Miller and Francis Maloney. 3 centres who are all missing because of injury. Because of that, Damien Gibson has moved into the 3 quarters, and Mark Lennon He was added almost as an afterthought at full-back for Castleford. And yet here he is as the potential match winner. 2 tries to his name so far. Wayne Bartram's kick at goal, though, is very, very important here. 2 points the difference, this to make it 4. Has he found it? Yes, he has! Flags are raised, and Wayne Bartram edges Castleford still further ahead now. 4 points is the gap.
This is a great passing movement here. You see there, Jeffers came into the line, tried to catch the intercept, and caused his outside backs a lot of problem. And then Wayne Bartram shows that a class kicker likes pressure, and he sticks it between the post and the sideline.
Wakefield 14, Castleford 18. But there are still 10 minutes or so left to play, so there is time for yet more twist to this game. Fritz managing 10 yards or so. Bartram at dummy half.
Cross in, Steve.
Wakefield's defence trying to pen Castleford inside their own half.
Over me, 3.
Lynch with a good quick play the ball. Here's Thackeray. Bowles has missed the tackle, but March was there behind him. Michael Smith. Good strong running by him. He was in fantastic form last season, and it looks as though he's beginning to unwind again in this game now. This is the last tackle, though, in this set of 6. Pass was not a good one. Danny Orr would have expected better service than that. He can still produce a very good kick, though. Wells is underneath it. Rogers is up there, too. Neither of them catch it cleanly. Eagles behind, and he's in! Well, we'll have to have a look at this again, I'm sure. The referee puts the square in the air. Corner flags, legs, arms, somewhere in it was a ball, and it would take more than the naked eye to make sense of that. The referee has decided to ask the video referee to have a look at this to decide whether this was a touchdown or not.
I'm not sure if Michael Eager believes in it either. I think they're looking, first off, they're looking for the offside. Everybody looks like they're onside on the chase. Rogers is good.
Yeah, he's onside, isn't he?
I think, yeah, definitely onside. And now I think they'll be looking at whether he gets the ball down. From where we're saying, we couldn't see it, and we'll have to go to the referee. But he knocks it back. Oh, I think he's taken the corner flag before he's put the ball down. If you look at Michael Eager's face here, I don't think he's that convinced himself.
Well, they're still having a look at the offside. The video referee making sure that is onside, and it would seem to be.
He's onside, can you not see that?
Yeah, he's got to be onside, hasn't he? So now it's just a question of whether he got the ball down or not.
This is a good angle, this. I think he takes the corner flag myself. Rogers does well again here, he gets up. It's a good competition that between Rogers and Wellens, isn't it?
As Eager, watch his boots. They have kept in play. Oh, I tell you what, it could not be closer. It could not be closer.
He touches the corner flag, which is out of play. Well, it's a massive effort. He shows some great strength here. Holland's fighting him there. Ball against the corner flag.
No, there was milliseconds in it. Did the ball go down first before he hit the flag? That's what I want to know.
You're creating a talking point.
Just watch this, Dennis Betts. I think this could be a try. Just watch this. Now, oh, the ball hits the corner flag. You're right. You're right. No try.
Hey, but we're not making the decision.
We're just the pundits in the box. It's up to the video referee to come to a decision here. Somebody's going to be unhappy. Somebody's going to be disappointed. Ian Smith has waved away the decision-making process.
Wakefield are pretty sure, though. They're all lined up to go from the 20.
Watch that screen. Try or no try?
No try.
No try. And it'll be a tap back on the 20 metres. So we needed about 5 or 6 different replays. Dennis Betts with the naked eye had it right from the start.
What do we need technology for? That's what I say.
Here's Wakefield now having survived that scare, but still finding themselves behind on the scoreboard. March. Now you can see Castleford having to do more work in defence than Wakefield. 20 more tackles than their opponents today so far. Kokidas. Wakefield have to score another try and kick a goal to get the lead again. Not. Sears gets it away to Hanford. Hanford's got a bit of tiger's pace about him, and he's managed to unpick that Castleford defence until he finds Lennon solid at the back. Sixth tackle coming up. Quick hands again. Here's Jeffries. Oh, to Somerset-Bourne, who is through on the last tackle. Somehow the Challenge Cup hero of '98 might just have written himself into the legend of Wakefield here. Wassili Somerset-Bourne on from the bench, has touched down and given Wakefield hope once more.
Well, Jeffers here, he makes a break, he takes a poor option, he's got somebody inside him, but he keeps hold of the ball, he's got good position, and this is great awareness, and a fantastic ball there. Somerset-Bourne hits a great line, and he's over the line, and he keeps bringing this 98, when was that?
Well, Wassili Somerset-Bourne and all those who witnessed that day when Sheffield won it now, was that a forward pass? It was fairly flat, wasn't it? But Wassili Somerset-Bourne didn't wait to ask. You need to be a good player when you wear white boots like that.
That was a fantastic line, a great run and a great pass. And this game's it's back in the pot, back in the mix a little bit.
It is all square, and Ian Knott with a very simple kick under normal circumstances, with a chance to put his side ahead, but these are not normal circumstances. This is Challenge Cup. Here it goes, and over it goes. Ian Knott has given his side the edge once more. 20 points to Wakefield, 18 for Castleford as a result of this.
It's a good
great
offload,
finish.
and it's a great break here. Using his feet, doesn't want it. He knows when it's over, which is a good thing to do. He gets the quick play of the ball. They've got good momentum, and if you wear white boots, you've got to be able to dance. And he puts the ball behind the post, which proves his point.
Fancy footwork from Wassili Somerset-Bourne has helped his side into a 2-point lead. Wakefield 20, Castleford 18. The kick-off has found Wakefield hands again. Well, this was big. Here's Somerset-Bourne once more. Kokidas. Good solid run from him. Now this is basic stuff done well from Wakefield. Valves. Kept hold. Mitch Healy was the defender. Dallas Hood. Jeffries. High kick. Lennon underneath it. Taking it well. Rogers. But a good chase again by the Wakefield defence means that Castleford start from there. But then, some silly defending. Somerset-Bourne has given away the penalty.
I was a little bit stupid there. Getting a little bit carried away.
I think these guys are already in the bin. I think we've had about enough from you guys as well.
I think what you've got to realise is that when you've got momentum, you've got to want to play the game as quickly and keep the ball in play as much as you can. That's taken that away from Wakefield here now. A little bit of composure from Castleford here. They could end up in an attacking position quite early in their set.
Well, the ball's gone over the roof, and the ball boy is not quick to return it onto the field. Time is against Castleford here. Castleford have to score again in these final, well, 4.5 minutes. There is time, but it's ticking away. Here's Gibson, twisting out Wrench with a tackle. Price at dummy half. Thackeray's going to take them on here.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see Adrian Valves in every single play now for these next 4 minutes. He'll be pushing himself and trying to keep them out. This will be a great win for him as a coach.
Castleford are only 30 yards away from the Wakefield line, but they have to score a try to win it. Danny Orr, long pass out, eager with a little kick through. Rogers is chasing it, and back there was Martin Holland, who again picks it up very smartly and evades a couple of runners and manages to make it to the 10-metre mark. Good full-back play.
Fantastic. Martin Holland's been their longest-serving player, and he's been very unfortunate with injuries. He had a great career ahead of him as a young boy, and now when he's got himself over his injuries, it seems like he's fulfilling that potential.
A A lift for the Wakefield forwards here. The 3 drives so far have been from backs. Now the forwards can have a go. Here's Wrench. Not. 6 tackle. Wakefield will be looking for a big boot downfield. Jeffries provides just as much. That is a good kick. Lennon picks it up at his own goal line. That means 100 yards away. He would find glory. Price. Somehow Castleford have to find a way through. 4 times winners of this competition. They haven't been in the final for nearly 11 years now. And they might be going out at the first attempt here unless they can find something magical. Bartram, plenty of support down that left-hand side, but Kokinis is across there to make the tackle. Here comes a 6th tackle, the last in this set. High one. Not too far downfield from Danny Orr. Healy's underneath it, little push back. Wakefield are happy to allow Castleford to play on because it's still the 6th tackle. Still the 6th tackle. Kept alive well. Here's Danny Orr again. He's being forced to run backwards before he puts a high kick in, and up goes Halpenny and takes a very safe catch indeed. And that might just be it.
Well, I think Wakefield have realised for the first time in the game they've got in front, and now they're playing the waiting game. They're all keen, they're all really want to work hard off the ball, and Castleford are really struggling to find any kind of space, and it's going to take something exceptional now if Castleford are going to win this game. Wakefield believe that they've got this game won, and if they do the right things, they're going to, I believe, get a shock win.
Well, it's a great way to start the Challenge Cup as far as the big clubs are concerned, isn't it? And the second of our double header coming up today. Bradford at Warrington Wolves coming up right after this game. Graham Stedman's only thoughts at the moment are on events here at Bellevue. Wakefield will just run out this set of 6 if they can. Just keep the ball tucked up their jumpers, as Eddie Waring used to say. 6th tackle coming up. Jeffries would hope to find touch. Lennon, the last chance for Castleford.
Wakefield have got a spring in their step. They know they're in with a chance of winning this game and upsetting it. Castleford have got to pull something out, but they've got enough quality in their side to find something a little bit different. I think you're going to be looking to find the ball to Price. Or Danny Orr's got to have the ball in his hands in these last few minutes, or this last minute or so.
3 tackles to go in this set of 6, and you rather think it'll be the last time that Castleford will hold the ball. So they need to find something in the next 3 tackles, and Wakefield's defence is not allowing them to. 2 tackles left now, and 23 seconds. Lynch with a little kick over the top, caught though by Gareth Ellis, and surely that does sound the death knell as far as Castleford are concerned. Wakefield will just play it out here now. Johnny Wells, former Castleford player, happy to carry it up. 1 more tackle. That's all Wakefield have to do now. Holland pushes off Danny Orr. The tackle is made. The referee has seen enough. The hooter is sounded, and what a way to start the Challenge Cup. Shane McNally, he's happy. He might not be showing as much, but he is absolutely delirious, and so are they. What a great start for Wakefield.
It was a great game, although it wasn't the prettiest to watch. It had lots of character in it, and Wakefield got a win that maybe they didn't deserve at times, but they forced the pass, they made the play, and they got the result that they deserved.
Well, it has been a real mouth-watering effort to start this Challenge Cup campaign. Wakefield Trinity Wildcats have sneaked their way through, beating Castleford by 20 points to 18. What a great match. It wasn't always a vintage performance by both sides, but in terms of drama, it was terrific, especially at the end. And what a day as well for Mark Lennon, who managed to score 2 tries that he thought had sealed it for his game, but it wasn't quite good enough. And Wasele Samatabua is the hero of the hour.
This is the tie that wins it all, and it's a great ball from, I think it might have been a ball from Jeffers, who was, I think, the man of the match today. He provided all the impetus for Wakefield to get this win. And this crowd's fantastic here for the Wakefield supporters. They need some success here. They're going to stay in Super League, and this is the kind of place that deserves it. 130 years ago today. I'll leave that one to you, until you can carry that one on.
Happy birthday, Wakefield. I think it's a simple message, isn't it?
And who was the Prime Minister again?
Disraeli, and you knew that. Well, they're celebrating here, the Wakefield players, and well they might. Tough start to the campaign for them when the balls came out of the hat, pairing them up with their local rivals, Castleford. They knew it was always going to be a very intense occasion, but they have come through it. And look at Wassili Savatabur, shades of 98, not quite the ultimate glory just yet, but he was in a side that was unfancied that year, that went all the way to the final and won it. And just maybe he's again in a side that is unfancied by many, but you never know, might just be going all the way to Cardiff this year and winning again.
This will be a great building block for this club as well. They've got a lot of new signings and a win against their local rivals. I know it's one of those big games. Whenever Wakefield play Castleford, whether it be in the league or in the Challenge Cup, to get a win means a lot to these fans and means a lot to these players. This could go a long way for them.
John Wells as well is a special reason to be happy, former Castleford player. Well, the Wakefield players are off to drink their champagne, and before they do, let's hear from the Wakefield player coach, a former Castleford player, Adrian Bowles.
Adrian, you must be delighted to put one over on your former club.
Yeah, it was a big win for us. We didn't start too well, and we probably did a few dumb things, but we ground out a win, and that's probably something we maybe wouldn't have done last year. And against a good side like Cass, it's a real good win.
An inspired substitution to bring Waisali Savatabua on the end. He got the winning try for you.
Yeah, it was good. Sova, he's very strong and powerful, and he got the win. So they got the try for the win, so it was good.
And just tell us about some of the new players in the side. Michael Corkidas, Ben Jeffries had good games today. Positives for you to take from today?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas Hood did a lot of good work too. They're all young and they're fresh, and they just want to win, and that's all you can ask.
One or two people saying the Challenge Cup should be taking place later in the season, and there were one or two handling errors out there, as you pointed out. Perhaps there is an argument to maybe play it later in the season?
I don't think so. Leave it where it is. Everyone wants to win it, no matter where you play it. So it's a great event, and so just leave it.
You're the first team through to the Power Gen Challenge Cup fifth round. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic cup tie, and it really just heightens the anticipation for what's to come here at Wilderspool in about 10 minutes' time. We've got Warrington against Bradford, arguably the pick of the fourth round ties in this Power Gen Challenge Cup, but certainly Jonathan Davis and Michael Withers, our guests here this afternoon, enjoyed what they saw from Wakefield and Castleford. But Michael, I bet Castleford can hardly believe that they're out of the competition.
Yeah, they looked the more dominant team throughout the game, but errors started to creep into their game later on, and Wakefield put back-to-back sets, and had some pressure, and they ended up getting the win.
The two turning points of the match, Jonathan. First of all, the disallowed try, which would have put Castleford clear.
Yeah, it was a close call. I just think, as he grounds the ball, Rogers does extremely well. Good play by Eager, but just watch the ball. He's got great, tremendous strength. Stays in field. Does the ball hit the base of the flag first? That's the telling point. As he puts the ball down, he's in touch. It does hit the bottom of the flag before it hits the try line. So close call, perfect call for Wakefield, really, because if that had been given, that would have been the end of the match for them. But as he picks the ball up, good support play. Holland tries to make the tackle off him. He'd have fancied the full-back to put him into touch, but he just touches the flag post as the ball goes to ground. So it was a good call. I think the referee was happy he didn't go back to him. But there we are. That's what the television is there for.
Michael, if you're going to be a pundit, you've got to make a call on those sort of things as well. Did he get it right?
You got it right. I think you got it right. Slow-mo shows it hit the bottom of the flag and come up with the right decision.
And the decision to bring Savatabua off the bench from the Wakefield point of view, absolutely spot on as well.
Yeah, it's quite handy to have on the bench. As you see, he hits a good line of a flat pass from, I think, Jeffries it was, and he gets the match winner. But, Wakefield built up pressure before the try. They had back-to-back sets, then a few silly penalties from Cass.
It's a great ball, though, isn't it? It's a flat ball which invites you to run onto it. And Savatabua might slightly, I think you call it a flat ball. You wouldn't call it forward, just a flat pass. And Savatabua is big, is strong, runs good angles. He's not great in defence because he lacks concentration. But in those instances, he's typical Fijian, you know, just hits the hole, and you've got to make the tackle of him. Eager didn't make the tackle on him, and won the match for Wakefield, lost the match for Cass.
Okay, early part of the season, and it was a match that was somewhat riddled with ill discipline and a lot of mistakes as well. Is that the price you pay for early season competition?
Well, you know, you've got to have a first match of the season, whatever it is. It could be a Super League, could be a cup match. You've got to prepare and then just get into it. You know, you've got the World Club Championship next weekend. You know, it's the same for them too. It doesn't matter what game it is, you've got to prepare yourself. You've got plenty of time in the off-season to play friendlies, to practice, to train. There's no excuses. They knew it was happening. It's been in the calendar. You know, it's just a bit of ring rustiness maybe, but Wakefield deservedly won it.
And is it that unknown element of the first match of the season, which is what maybe your teammates here at Bradford fear most against Warrington this afternoon?
Yeah, first game, it always brings everyone back to level par. You know, everyone has to get rid of the cobwebs, and anyone can win on their day. But if you get through these first rounds and you're not playing your best, then it obviously sets you up for the later rounds and when you start to hit form.
Okay, we'll talk more about prospects here in just a moment. Let's just remind you of the afternoon's football. The two early matches are both over, both results, and Liverpool won apiece with Middlesbrough at Anfield thanks to Jean-Arnaud Ries's equaliser 16 minutes from time. Liverpool salvaging a point, but would have hoped for a great deal more at the end of another very bad week for them. Comfortable for Rangers in the end. Claudio Canigia with a goal in the last minute for Rangers, completing a 3-1 victory at Dunfermline that puts them 6 points clear of that Bank of Scotland Premier League with Celtic to play